All right, friends, it is 6 o'clock. We want to welcome you here tonight and thank you for our patience or your patience while we figure out the Zoom room. It's always something. You feel as prepared as ever, and then it's always something. So we appreciate your patience always in our Zoom and tech world. And also, there's children outside tonight playing. I'm trying not to be that mean old lady, but I'll keep trying. You are all here for a night of art at San Francisco Public Library's virtual library, and we appreciate you being here. We want to acknowledge the Ohlone tribal families as the rightful stewards on the lands in which we reside here in the Bay Area, and we encourage you to learn more about Native culture and land rights. In the link that I put in the chat box is information about Indigenous culture and reading lists about that as well. There's a site in there called Native Lands, which is a great site that you can enter in any location you're at in America, and it will let you know what tribal land you are occupying right now. We also want to acknowledge that SFPL stands in solidarity with Black Lives Matter, and we are working on our own systemic racism in our organization, and just acknowledge the painful situation our country seems to remain in with police violence and police killings of Black people. Also included in that document list is a reading list about Black lives, race, justice, incarceration, but also information about Black art, artists, Black joy, LGBT, all sorts of great other not necessarily race or violence reading lists, but that's there too. So take your time, look through that list. It's out there. You have the link. It lives forever, and you can check it out. And I just want to go through some quick SFPL PSAs. And there's some awesome student art reminding us to do our duties of our rights. It's our right to vote. So do it. Vote, please. Don't forget what happened when we didn't vote. This 2021 will be celebrating Chanel Miller as our One City, One Book author. If you have not read the book, we encourage you to pick it up. It is beautiful. It's heavy to read, though. It's a powerful story, and you might have to take your time with it. So get it now from our Friends of the Library bookstore online, or your library, or any one of your local favorite bookstores. You could place it on hold using SFPL to go, now at 8 locations. And just a reminder, all my library family who's working out there, I miss you, love you, and please, everybody, wear your mask to protect all of those workers who are serving us daily out there. Tonight's event is part of our Viva lineup, Latino Heritage Month, and it's been an amazing Viva. I've been so overwhelmed with excitement and all the amazing people that I've been able to promote, including Benjamin Boxiera, who was our On the Same Page author. Had a great convo with him, and Luis Rodriguez was amazing. Please check out his new book, Puraneta, and his other book, if you haven't. It's a sequel to his first book, Barrio Bushido. Definitely encourage you to check that out. Tomorrow night, we have Cuban graphics in the Bay Area with Lincoln Cushing, who is an archivist and historian, and just a knowledgeable person around graphics and poster art. I definitely, if you are any way, shape, or form into graphics, you must come to this. Wednesday, we have an author coming, Celia Starr, who's going to be talking about her book, Frida in America. Come support the poets. I know poetry is hard sometimes, but this is going to be a good one. Friday afternoon, poetry, lunch, join us. Calixto will be back with us. We are so fortunate to have Calixto join us for a discussion of Day of the Dead and stories about how his family celebrated Day of the Dead, and he'll be showing us how to build an altar. This program will be in Spanish, and that's this Sunday at 11 a.m. Lots of other great events coming up. We're part of Bay Area Science Fest, which runs from October 21st through the 24th. Check them out, Bay Area Science Fest. So many free events for your family or for all people. They had the widest array of events. all ages. We're celebrating the Before Columbus Book Award also on Sunday. And here's where I start breezing through November. We have a lot of events, so make sure you check it out, including Angela Davis. And this is a partnership with the McCovey Foundation for the Arts and the Museum of Modern Art. Definitely sign up for this one. And as always, we thank our friends of the San Francisco Public Library for doing all the things that they do to support us. They do have an online bookstore now, so check them out. And they have been selling online books for quite a while, the used side. So continue to check all of that stuff out. And tonight, I want to introduce you all to Calixto Robles. Calixto is a painter, printmaker, and ceramic sculptor. He was born in Oaxaca, Mexico, and his art is inspired by the native cultures of the world. Calixto is also an activist here in the city, and I kind of got in a discussion the other day about, are activists, is it their chosen role or do they fall into it? So I'll be interested to see what Calixto says about that. One of his prints behind us that kind of falls in the activism realm is a print about Sean Monterosa. So I definitely have run into Calixto all over town at all kinds of events, and he's a really wonderful and generous person for being here tonight. Tonight he's going to talk to us about his recent body of work, which was supported from a grant from the SF Arts Commission. Unfortunately, when COVID hit, the actual exhibition did not get to happen. So we're so fortunate that he's going to share his work with us tonight. It is called Water is Life. And the purpose of the project is for people to appreciate and thank Mother Nature for this sacred gift that it offers us. Robles says, it is also to raise awareness to protect our rivers, springs, and oceans from the pollution generated by large oil corporations. So please, let's give a big library virtual welcome for Calixto Robles, who can now share his screen. Hi, Calixto, do you need some help? All right, there we go. And everyone can put on speakers. I have one more announcement. I'm sorry. I totally always forget. And I even have the note right here in my face. My name's Anissa. Hello. I'm your librarian host tonight. And we will do Q&A with the Zoom chat box, or we're also just going to open it up again and share. We also have Joanna with us tonight in the background, who's our tech host, but she's also a Spanish translator. So if we have any Spanish that needs to happen, we can make that happen as well. So welcome, Joanna, and welcome, Calixto. Calixto, we see your screen, but we don't hear you.
Okay. Like I said, thank you for the invitation, and also thank you to the San Francisco Public Library for inviting me to this talk. And also I would like to thank the San Francisco Art Commission for the grant to do this project. I'm from Mexico, from the state of Oaxaca, and since I was a kid, I always liked to do art. My family, my grandfather had a big house, and he rented some rooms to different people. And I remember that one of the people that he rented was a lady who had a loom, and I remember seeing outside in the patio preparing the thread with different colors. So since I was a kid, I was very exposed to to colors, and also later on, another family rented a room, and these people were ceramic people. They used to do dishes and cups, and they even built a small kiln in the patio, and I could see how they put the the ceramic pieces in the kiln, and I could see the colors. Um, and then um, yes, okay. Um, so sorry, is everything okay? Because I don't know if I'm
You look great. We're looking great.
okay. Um, so since I was a kid, I was exposed to see colors and forms, and also I remember when I used to go to the market in Oaxaca, you will see all the stands with the fruits and the flowers, and the people, the native people of Oaxaca, wearing their dresses, the very with bright colors. Uh, so um, I think since I was a kid, I started uh, getting inspired by all the things that I was looking at. Um, I went to elementary school and high school and college, and then university in Oaxaca. Um, I wanted to, when I finished high school, I wanted to go to the fine art school in Oaxaca, but my family said that I better study like law or medicine or administration. So I didn't go to the fine arts. I am a self-taught artist, and just by doing it, is how I learned it. Um, in 1983, after I finished my university, I came to California, and like any immigrant, at the beginning, I started working in different jobs, including construction, restaurants, and also I started attending the public libraries to start studying about my roots. Um, and I started studying about the Aztecs and the Mayas and the Zapotecs and the Mixtecs, and seeing the images of what they created, you know, the beautiful sculptures, the codices, um, the poems that some of the Aztecs wrote, beautiful poems like Nezahualcóyotl. So all of this gave me a big background when I was here in America and in North America, and it made me appreciate more my culture. And and then I was one day in 1985, 1986, I was walking by the Mission Street, and I discovered the Mission Cultural Center. In those times, there were some drawing classes, that there were some workshops. So I came in and talked to the teacher. His name is Rene Castro, a great artist from Chile, and he welcomed me to the classes. And after a while, after maybe 1 year that I've been coming to the drawing classes, he invited me to go upstairs to the studio, or to the screen printing studio, a very famous one named Mission Gráfica. That was like in 1987, 88. And when I saw the studio and I saw the people, the artists there printing, just pulling the squeegee on the screens, and I saw how with one pull you can cover a big area of color. I was very impressed for that, and I asked Rene if I could come and volunteer, and he said, yeah, come, you know. So after In those times, I was working in a restaurant, like a waiter. So after working in the restaurant, I immediately will come to Mission Grafica to help racking the posters or cleaning the screens. And then after, when I have a time, then I will start creating my screen prints. Um, my first works that I start printing were based on my roots, you know. So I did a lot of works related to the Aztecs, jaguars, and images, something like this. Let me see if I learn to do this. Okay, here. So this is a screen print that I did like in 1992, probably, and it's a Jaguar. I started using the Jaguar a lot on my first posters because the Jaguar for me is a very special animal that in the Zapotecs, the Aztecs, the Mayas, we worship this Jaguar. Um, Also, this print is like in 1996. Sometimes I used to go to the Golden Gate Park to see the bisons in the Golden Gate Park. And one day I had my sketchbook and I just drew this bison, and then I went back to Mission Grafica and create this screen print. This is another Jaguar that I did. I put a watermelon because for me, watermelon kind of is like life, so beautiful, so juicy. So that's why I use that images. And this is an image of some watermelons that when I went to a market in Oaxaca, I saw it, I sketched it, and then I came here and I create this screen print. This is another image that I did. It's like a woman with a heart. This is like 1996, 1998. This is another print also. I mix two jaguars, and the image in the middle is ceramic made by the people from Veracruz, the Totonaca culture. And I use different, when I did those screen prints in those times, like in 1998, they were very experimental. I have a lot of fun when I do screen printing. Screen printing is a beautiful technique that allows you to play and to do a lot of things with the medium. Is one of my favorite techniques, printmaking techniques. It's another print that I did maybe like in 1997. It's with many colors. And this is a most recent piece. It's oil painting on a gold panel. It's a jaguar with some motifs, Oaxaca motifs. This is an oil painting that also I did like in 2000. Supposed to be a snake, like Quetzalcoatl or something like that. And this is one of my screen printing that I did like in 1990. You know, it's inspired in one of the images of the Aztecs. It's supposed to be a little clay puppet that the Aztec did for the kids, and so I just made the screen printing. And this is a oil painting that I did in like 2004, 2005. It's a jaguar, and also I mixed different cultures, like from India. The hands comes like water or energy. This is another piece that I did like in 1999, 2000. It's called Ceremony, and this inspired in one of the. I was very honored to be invited to some ceremonies by the Native Americans, and we went to this teepee and we pray and sing during the night, and it's a very beautiful ceremony. This is an oil painting. It's a jaguar. I call it Jaguar del Viento. To me, it has a lot of, it's like the wind inside the body. Then in 2013, I was invited to go to the Native American Health Center in San Francisco to some drumming and singing lessons. And when I got there and saw the drum and hear the singing and the drumming, for me it was like very spiritual. And since that time, since 2013, every week we go to learn to sing and to drum with a very special friend and teacher, Michael Bellinger. He has a drum group named All Nations, and they play and sing in powwows. So finding this drum, it has gave me a lot of strength in these times, you know, because when we are singing and drumming, before drumming and singing, we usually put a little tobacco, a little offering to the drum, because for us the drum represents the grandfather, and we ask for to help us if we have any problems or anything, or help healing the world or family or friends. We put a little tobacco on the drum, and then we sing and drum, and that's very special. And also being with them, with the Native American people, I was very surprised and very happy to see how they respect Mother Earth, and also they have a ceremony. The women have a ceremony. Usually it's in May. They call it water walk, and they do it in Ocean Beach. So they invite us to go to the ceremony and sing some songs for them, and then I saw how a lot of women came to the Ocean Beach. This wasn't like in 2014. And they do that every year, but they didn't do it this year because of the pandemic. But they go, mostly women, and from different backgrounds, Mexicans, Guatemala, I think also from India, so different nations, and they talk about water, about the respect for the water, and to be humble and to be to take care of the water. So when I applied for this grant for the San Francisco Art Commission, I was thinking what theme should I take, and I was thinking maybe immigration, maybe climate change, but then I remembered that water was is very important, and so that's why I took water like my project for this grant. I want to show you some of the pieces that I did. This piece is I chose Sitting Bull, El Acora leader, because he was a great warrior who fought against the U.S. Policies and for their people. So for me, it's a warrior, a hero, and 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 I use other symbols, and like it's a warrior of water too, especially when when North Dakota pipeline were happening. So he is a warrior. And this is a design that I did about the water walk in Ocean Beach. It's a lady carrying a bucket. Part of the ceremony of the water walk is that after the speeches that the ladies give, then we go to the ocean and with 4 buckets, and then they fill out with water, and then they walk to another area of the beach, and then they do another ceremony, and then we come back to the place where we start, and then there is a sharing of water to everybody. These prints are big, are like 30 wide for 44 inches long, and I use different symbols and colors to represent the water. And this angel is for me represents Chalchitlicue, is the goddess of the water in the Aztec pantheon. And also, here is another very well-known god from the Aztec people, is Tlaloc, and he's holding like something that you put copal or offerings inside to ask for water. And I use some shells that represents the oceans, the water. And the feathers are eagle feathers. This is a design that I was inspired by my daughter. One day, she was I was working on my studio. She was with me, and she was making a little drawing. And she said, "Hey, Dad, you could do this, like this water coming down and the plants growing up." So I was very happy that she was already thinking about water. And also, I was looking for leaders who are fighting for clean water, and I knew Autumn Peltier is a young lady from Canada, a Native American, a Native Canadian, and she is a warrior woman. A water warrior, and she's been also speaking about water, clean water for their communities in Canada. So I use her her image, and I put the word in La Cora, that means water is life, mini Wicon. And I use those bear claws that represent the resistance. This is another piece that I did. This is a whale coming from the ocean, and there's some symbols, some Maya symbols that represents the God water Chak. And this is another print that I did with this lady is a native Mazateca from Oaxaca, from the mountains, from Huautla. I like this image because she is praying, and I think we all should pray for water. That's a very important element. This is another version of the Chalchitlique, the water god. This is it's an image of Jemaya, is a Yoruba African goddess that also take care of water and in the Yoruba religion. And I did this poster in 2016, I think, when the North Dakota people were fighting against the pipeline, and I did a poster to let people know that struggle. They were fighting for their land, for the sacred land that these big companies wanted to go through with their oil. It's again another version of the sitting bull warrior. And this is a design inspired by the Pueblos nations, the Navajo, the Hopi, and I call it rain dance. And it's two snakes, that means fertility, and the water. This is another print that represents the water and the world surrounded by the water. They say that like 70% is in this world is water, and we, like human, we are like 70% to our bodies is full with water. And as part of this grant from the San Francisco Art Commission, also was to do some workshops and several schools here in the community. And this is part of their work. These works are from Drew High School. They did these beautiful designs. These works are from Buena Vista Horsemen Middle School. These works are from Synergy School here in the Mission. It was very nice to go to the schools and talk to the kids about this project, and they were they were very immediately they start making these beautiful designs. It was incredible, very beautiful. It's a beautiful design. What is life? It's like a waterfall. This is from Horace Mann, Buena Vista Kids. So yeah, well, now if there's any questions or any comments, I'll be very happy to talk to you.
Coming back on with you, Calixto. Don't be shy, friends. If you want to raise your hand or if you want to speak, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask a question, or you can put it in the chat box. I have a question. I'll start out, get everyone started and warmed up. The work that you did with the students, so that's also printed? So you also taught them how to screen print?
Yes, actually, yes, it was, the project was to teach them screen printing, and I went to the school like maybe 4 or 5 sessions, and they loved the technique of screen printing. They finished the design and they want to do another one immediately. So it was really beautiful to see how inspired were them, and we did some prints, and also we did some T-shirts. So they were very proud to see how to create a T-shirt with your own design. So they were very happy. Some of these kids, for example, the Buena Vista horsemen, I had been teaching before after school classes, so some of them they knew me, and they knew more or less the process, but some of the ones, that was the first time, so they love the technique of screen printing.
The art that we saw early on in my slideshow, the vote art, that was from Drew's school as well. What I wanted to ask too was about activism and art. So do you feel like you approach art with activism, or do you feel like maybe you fell into a role that activism sort of chose you? Or do you feel it as something you should do as an artist?
Yeah, I think all the artists in some ways are activists in their own voice. About me is just, there's so many things happening in the world every day, and so many struggles. So even though sometimes I don't do that every time, but I'm thinking all the time about what's happening, and when I have a project or I have a time, I just, I do it,
Thank you. Would anyone from the audience like to ask anything, or do we have any YouTube questions, Joanna? We do have a comment. Thank you. Your paintings are very potent and beautiful, interesting, and congratulations on your work and project. Let's see.
No comments from YouTube.
Okay. Anyone in the audience, feel free, please.
Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much, Señor Robles. Muy hermoso todo su arte. Muchas gracias. I think my question, Señor Robles, is I am wondering what I see feathers, and I'm curious, what is that a representation of?
Gracias por su pregunta. Como dije antes, I don't know, should I speak in English or Spanish?
You can do both, whatever.
Yes, like in 2013 to 2014, I started attending these drumming and singing lessons with the Native Americans, and I started learning a lot about their culture, and I know that the eagle feathers are very special, are very special. Only certain people can wear them, and they represent strength and healing. So that's what when I put those feathers into my art, it represent resistance and healing.
Thank you, Senor Robles. I guess I kind of missed that a little bit. I also have another question, of course, I saw some bear paws there as well. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes. Also, the, bear claws are also the medicine for the Native Americans, and also are very strong symbols of power and resistance and healing. So that's what I use those symbols in the posters to show resistance, healing, resilience, and power.
Muchas gracias, Senor Robles. Again, very inspirational. And I like the way you mentioned about activism regarding artists, all of them is being some part of being activists. But muchas gracias y buenas noches. Gracias, Senor Robles. Muy agradecida. Muy agradecida. Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you. We do have two questions, same question. I know that you were about to show with the SF Arts Commission as part of the grant, but that fell through. Are there any plans for any galleries to be able to pick this up, or are we just too COVID closed still?
Well, I was also very honored and very happy. I have talked to Galería de la Raza, Acción Latina, and to show these works, and they agreed to show them this year, right? But because of the pandemic, we had to cancel it. But I wanna thank Acción Latina, Galería de la Raza for have offered me the space. And right now I haven't talked to anybody about doing a show, but I'm sure that I will show them, and I don't know where yet, but I will.
We have a question from Luis. I'm curious about water use in Oaxaca. Does everyone have access to fresh water, or is there competition over water use? Like we have here, like water use like we have here in the American West?
There is some in the Oaxaca city, but we see the the climate change. I remember when I was a kid, it used to rain a lot, and we have water in the faucets. Later on, it stopped raining. The seasons, rainy season, start like changing. And I remember that now, when we go to Oaxaca, there is, in some days there is no water. I think the water comes maybe 3 times a week, and that's when you have to fill up your buckets or tanks, and it's definitely changing all the water. Yeah, I think like in the whole world, we need to be more careful with water, not to waste it. Take care of her, because it's life, and we don't. Sometimes we don't give it the right respect. You know, I mean, here in US we have it very easily in our homes, but it's in a lot of places people have to walk long walks to get some water, or sometimes they don't even have water, and it's sad.
True story. Yes. Thank you. We have a thank you for sharing your paintings. Would anybody else like to ask any last questions of Calixto? Don't need to be shy.
I have a question, actually. I wanted to ask, in these posters, there's so many layers of it. So in the screen printing process, how many screens to be able to do that?
Yes, when I start doing screen printing in 1988, 1989, my first posters, I used to do. I was so in love with screen printing that I started printing one. I didn't even make like a design. I just start putting colors and colors and colors, and then come to the house and go to sleep. And I was just thinking, tomorrow I'm gonna go and I'm gonna put green or yellow and red. And then next day I come to Mission Graphica and start putting colors in colors. And I just it was so beautiful to see how they change the paper with the colors. I use a technique called reduction, and they sell a liquid called block out. So in one screen I print one color like green. I print green, clean the screen, and then let it dry the screen, and then I use the block out. It's like glue. I can do little textures on the screen, and after it's dry, that screen, I go with another color, and so it's I just keep putting colors. In this case, in these posters for this project, I just first I put the background, and then on top of that background I put another images. Very loose. These prints are like mono prints, because it's only one print like that. I couldn't. It's only one because I just I use different smaller screens, and I just move them around. I don't know if I explained you.
No, yeah, that totally makes sense. So basically, each of these posters is one of a kind. There's no way of reproducing them.
No, they were just just
Gorgeous.
Or yeah, wow.
Everyone says very interesting, and they thank you and acknowledge your beautiful work. I love this. It's just so iconic. The colors too are just beautiful. Calixto, thank you so much for sharing your work with us tonight. This is the last chance for last call for questions.
Anissa, I think there was a little question, kind of a suggestion by Sherry. You see it on the chat?
Sorry, I missed one. Yes, Sherry recommends maybe you show these as part of an Earth Day celebration. That would be lovely. And again, Sherry thanks us for presenting this work and for presenting you tonight, Calixto. We're so happy. And I definitely encourage you all to come back to Calixto's next event, which is the Day of the Dead, kind of a history and storytelling and maybe a little altar making. And again, that one will be in Spanish. So if you speak Spanish, that's great. If you don't, come practice your Spanish.
Sí, el próximo evento con Calixto va a ser en español. Es para Día de Muertos y es este 25 de octubre, el domingo. Entonces hagan sus reservas. Va a ser el programa completamente en español. Sorry, I had to say it.
Yes. All right. I think we're gonna call it then for tonight. Calixto, thanks you so much. Big. Oh, I'm gonna unmute everybody so we can get an actual mute. Oh, unmute. Oh, I don't have that button. Everybody unmute and clap. Woo!
Gracias.
Thank you very much to everybody.
Gracias, Calixto.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Thank you,
Gracias.
friends.
Thank you.
Library community, we love you. We miss you, and we'll see you all next time. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Library.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joanna. Thank you.